Hello, my loves. Hi, guys. Hello, hello, hello. Come on in. Come on in, come on in. Let's get this going. Go. Let's get this going. Go, 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 go. Hey, guys. Hello. How are you? Hello, hello. Let me get my stuff up. Hello, everyone. Okay. Okay. All right. Hello, everyone. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, guys. Hello. Let's see. Hi, guys. Hello, 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 hello. Hey, Krista girl. Hey, how you doing? Hello. Oh, 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 oh. Lord, the little set falling apart, people. Hello. It is your girl, the life architect from the architect's table. I am your fave relationship and life coach. So thank you for joining today. If you want to, you can follow me on my social medias. Facebook, I have not they didn't want to come with you. That's funny. Them kids get grown and they definitely don't be wanting to do anything with us anymore. So hey, I feel you. You can follow me on Facebook at the Architect's Table and this page as well, my personal page. You can also follow me on the Instagram, the Life Architect underscore, yeah, underscore. And also, my email is the architect's table at yahoo.com if you want to contact me there. Um, Thank you, Regina. Thank you, girl. Be trying to be great. Yeah, sometimes our girls do a little better. Yeah, I'm team girl. I'm team girl. So so my week, as always, whenever I have a topic that I want to speak on, something happens to me that lets me know that this is definitely what God wants me to do and what God wants me to speak about and to help other people. Because if we don't go through stuff, the people that try to give out advice and motivate you and all that kind of stuff, if they don't go through some stuff or seen some stuff or whatever, it's kind of really just kind of talking out of your neck. So I like to speak from experience. I don't like to try to tell you what I've heard or what I haven't done myself or what I've seen someone close to me go through. I don't try to do that kind of stuff because I want to really let you know that this thing works for real. So my week was pretty good. As some of you may have seen, I announced, and I got forced into announcing it. I wasn't ready to announce it yet, but it's fine. My producer, I have a producer. My producer announced, so I had to go ahead and announce to the people I hadn't told. I hadn't told anybody, my family or anything. So don't anybody feel bad if you didn't know ahead of time that my podcast is coming. The Complete Woman Podcast is geared towards mothers and wives. It's not restricted. Anybody can listen if you want to, because I feel like everybody needs all tips all the time. So I am doing this podcast to help mothers and wives because a lot of times um we think we are superheroes. I want to help you take your cape off because we don't have to be all things to all people. We can relax and we can be selfish sometimes, and that's kind of hard for us to do most of the time. Yeah, they something else. Girls are something else, but I like them. I love them. I love them more than them boys. Them boys too rough for me. They too much. But yeah. So I had been contemplating doing a podcast for a long time, and people had been suggesting and pressing me to do one, and I just wanted to do it right. I do a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff I do really quick. Like if God tell me to do, I try to move when He says move because I know me. I'll talk myself out of stuff, and I'll procrastinate, and then I'll start looking at other people, and then I'll feel intimidated and all that kind of stuff. And so God lined it up to where someone saw in me what I could do, and they wanted to produce it, and someone else saw in me what I could do, and they sold into it for me to start. Because yeah, this is not free, people. Okay, so I am legit doing this stuff. Like, this is like real life professional stuff going on. And not to say that anybody else don't have it going on because they don't get it done professionally or whatever. I'm just telling you how it worked out for me, because I was one step away getting that app. I already had the app on my phone because I believed that God wanted me to do it. I had the app on my phone, and I was ready to start my own podcast on my own time in my own way, because I was like, it got to get out some kind of way. I can't wait around. And then God stepped in and made that thing work, because he saw, okay, she's ready. She's going to do this thing. So let me help her and equip her financially, and the support system and the connections, all of that stuff flowed together. And I thank God for that. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear it and hear me and do, all the things I'm doing. Thank you, Regina. So that is coming. So look out for that, as well as some other stuff I already got going on. And I know I said it before, I do the teen parent event around this time. But that is possibly going to be pushed back because of this whole virus thing. So, keep looking out for that teen mom event. And all the other stuff that I have going on, and now I do a live on Instagram as well, where I bring people in and we just randomly just talk about stuff, and it ends up helping people. And that was a God move as well, because it was kind of like, everybody's doing it, I don't want to do it, but hey, it worked. It has worked out well. If you missed the one with my brother, I had one with my brother and one of my best friends of 30 years. We did one, and it was really, really good. So, but I want to thank you guys for your support and your encouragement, all the people that believe in me. That is so amazing. I really, really appreciate it. So, dealing with this topic, Little Fires Everywhere. I don't know if anybody has seen the show. If you have not seen the show and plan on watching the show, and if you have not watched the whole entire season, then you might want to get out of this live, because I'm going to drop some stuff and they're going to be spoilers. I'm sorry. Because at this point, you need to watch it. It's a really good show. It comes on Hulu, and it's Kerry Washington and Reese Witherspoon, who I majorly love anything that they are in. They are geniuses. So, of course, this show is amazing. And so while I was preparing for this video, I had a whole nother topic in mind. And of course, God always comes in and he shifts that thing and changes that thing or whatever. So as I'm thinking about the show, if something happens to me personally that kind of I can relate to the show, because something happens to me, and it got me really upset this week. And I had to remember that God knows what he's doing, and all things work together for my good. So even though right now things could be a little shaky and a little rocky, and sometimes things don't go the way that you want them to, and people act the way that you didn't expect them to act, God is still in control. Things will work out. So I want to get the book, Regina. I need to get the book. Yeah, you gotta leave, I'm sorry. So Little Fires Everywhere. It's so much to unpack. That's why I'm doing a video, because it's so much to unpack, and I feel like it's so relatable though. If you are a parent, if you are a child, if you are a husband or a wife, like it, from all dynamics, if you're poor, if you're rich, like all dynamics can watch this and get something and grow from it and learn from it. It is such an amazing show. Like, it was very well put together. So in the show, there are these two families, and there's this mom who is like traveling here and there with her child, basically homeless. They go from city to city, state to state, her whole entire life. And then other family, they're this rich white family. All of them, they perform at their at stellar levels and all this kind of stuff. And for the Caucasian white, I don't know the proper term for that, so hopefully I'm saying it right. I don't know, but for them, their children always was trying to live up to their expectations, so they would do stuff to put on this facade that they were this amazing family. And the other family was the black African American mom and her daughter, and they were traveling. They're basically nomads, and they're traveling here and there in their little car with all their stuff. And then they finally get to this town, and they meet up with this other family, the Caucasian family. And the Caucasian family owns a property where they end up moving in and all that kind of stuff. So they end up being connected because of their children and stuff like that. So the black mom, African American mom, Lord, I don't listen, people. Y'all don't hold me to the right way to say these things. Help me, okay? But she's the African American mom. She has all these secrets, and she's keeping stuff from her child. And come to find out, she's lying to her child about her father, where she basically was supposed to be a surrogate for this family, and then she ended up taking the child from the family without them knowing, because she made them think that the child was dead. So the whole time this child is going to home, city to city, state to state, she's thinking that her mom can't afford things, and come to find out her mom is this amazing artist who has portraits and paintings that she can sell for a lot of money. So she ends up admiring the Caucasian family because they have everything. The mom puts all herself into her children. She, her life revolves around her kids. She makes sure that her kids have everything that they should have. And then the African American mom, she's kind of so consumed with herself that, she does a lot of things from her own perspective and the way that she wants things to be done, and just kind of drags her daughter along the way. But what people don't understand, and what I want people to catch from this show is, and just life period, when we are on the outside looking in, we can mess up a lot of times. We are looking at other families or other people, and we feel like they have it better, they're doing better. And I'm telling you, these kids, listen, I tell people all the time, and people tell you, especially people that's close to me, or hear me say, these kids will not stress me. And I say that because kids have a way of, because they are born in selfishness, and they are born in this whole dynamic of, they don't have to think about anybody else, they don't have to worry about anybody else, they don't have to take care of anybody else. So they will make you feel like you are not doing your job as a parent. Sometimes they will make you feel like you just are not doing right. They'll make you feel like you're the worst. They'll make you feel like nothing is going their way. I'm sorry, y'all, my set is falling apart. They'll make you feel like, nothing is going their way. You're not doing anything right. And I tell people all the time, just keep going. Keep doing what you know to do is right. Because at the end of the day, these kids don't really know anything about life. They think they know, but they don't really know anything about life. So you're trying to please a child who doesn't even know themselves. This child doesn't know themselves. This child doesn't even know anything about life. So you're trying to please them, and you keep jumping through these hurdles trying to please them, and you still come up short, because children will be children. So they get caught up in a whole bunch of stuff they get caught up in this show. And, the children, the Caucasian family, one of the daughters, she ends up using the African American daughter's name for certain things. She stole her life for her essay to get in college, and she stole her identity to get an abortion. And then one of her other children, she's so angry at her mom, and she has this lifestyle that her mom doesn't know about, because she is actually homosexual, but her mama doesn't know. And it's like all these secrets, and the parents just keep going, and don't take the time to really listen to their children. Because a lot of times as parents, we can feel like, you know, we know better and we know the right way to do it, and you should just listen to us. In a lot of ways, that is true, because the kids don't know anything about life yet again. They don't know anything about life. But at the same time, kids have their own identity, they have their own thoughts, so at least you can have a conversation to hear them out and hear where they're coming from, and do your best to appease that. You know, don't fully go away from what you're teaching them, but, you know, do enough to where the child feels like they're heard. But the problem in the Caucasian family with the youngest daughter is that the mom never wanted her in the first place. So all of her anger and all of her frustration with that child stem from that. We as parents have to do better when it comes to our children. They did not ask to be here. Hey, Francis, they did not ask to be here. They did not ask for you to keep them, you know, and take care of them. That is your job if you decide to have a child. So to make a child feel like they are unworthy, it starts at home. And this is why children go out in the world and they let people make them feel like they're unworthy, because at home we make them feel like they're unworthy first. It starts at home, whether it's one parent or both parents or a grandparent or an aunt or uncle. Somebody can make this child feel like they are not important, and they go out into this world and they're trying to get attention, and they get attention in toxic ways. So the children, the children, Caucasian son and the African American daughter started sleeping together behind people's backs and all that kind of stuff because they're looking for attention. And what we don't want is for our children to crave the attention of the world so much that they forget who they are. So we have to invest in them, and we have to let them know that you are important, you are worthy, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times this world, listen, if you can't handle a lot of these pressures in the world, your child really can't handle them. Your child doesn't know anything about this world, and so to just throw them out here and think that they should know is like, it's crazy, you know. So you have to be very mindful. Hey, Cherise, you have to be very mindful with that. You know, you have to be very open and very honest. Listen, I tell my story to my children. I told my story to my children before the world knew my story, because I wanted them to understand that their mom isn't perfect. Their mom goes through some stuff. Their mom has done some stuff. She has not been an angel, you know, and she still comes up short. So I don't sugarcoat anything for my children, because at the end of the day, they should know that I can make mistakes, I can fall, and I can still come back on the other end better than what I was. But to have people like in this show is so crazy. To have people, they're so busy trying to prove each other wrong, each culture wrong, and each person wrong, that they're missing what's going on with their children. Their children have so much stuff going on, they don't even see it, and the other parent has to tell the other parent what's going on with their own children. Like, why? Now, your children are not going to tell you everything. You're not going to know every single thing about your child, but another person should not be able to come tell you all this stuff about your child because your child didn't feel safe enough to come talk to you about stuff. That should not be the issue. You have to make your space safe for your children, so your children can feel like they can come to you and talk to you about things. Like, my children come and talk to me about a lot of stuff. Now, I know, again, some stuff they may not talk to me about because they know that their mama is kind of crazy. So, yeah, you don't know where it's going to go sometimes. But a lot of times they talk to me about stuff that most children may not ever tell their parents. And a lot of stuff that I didn't tell my parents, you know, but we have to understand that kids need to have that outlet, and they need to be able to feel like it's safe enough to come to you, so they don't go to these people out here in the street, and they don't go to these men and these women that's going to use them up and treat them wrong. You don't want that. So you want to place value in your children, so you don't have your child, because like in this show, have your child trying to burn you down. Like, because the children had got it so frustrated in the Caucasian family, they got so frustrated. And they were so over, you know, all of the weight that their mom was putting on them, that they ended up trying to burn. They actually did burn the house down. because they had too much weight on them. It was too much. They were trying to achieve at these great levels that, you know, and even their mom, because she saw what they could be. Kids don't always understand the perspective of a parent because they're not parents. And I tell parents this all the time. Your children are never really going to understand where you're coming from, because one, they're children. They're not parents. Number two, they have not been through much of anything. So they're not going to really understand where you're coming from. They're going to think that you're trying to control them, or you're trying to make them be how you want them to be, or you want them to be a certain way. No, we know what life will throw at you, and we know what life will do. So we're trying to show you that there is other ways to handle certain things, so you won't go through what we went through. You won't go through what some of our friends and our family members have gone through. So we have to be very careful and very mindful that, and from a child's perspective, they have to really be open to what the parent has to say as well. Because if you always shutting out what your parents say, then you end up being in these situations that your parent can't save you from. Kids think that they are invincible. Again, parents, do not stress, okay? Don't let these kids stress you. Don't let them. Like, it was a point that my mom had got to where, because my mom really stays out of our business. My mom really don't, even though people see us always together, my mom really stays out of our business until she has to come and handle something. But mom really stays out of our business. And it was like, I was like, well, why mama don't say, and why mama don't do? And now I understand. I told my mom, I said, I'm turning into you, because my kids are older now. And they can make their own decisions, and they can do some things on their own. And sometimes they have to fall on their behind. Parents, we have to learn to let go at some point to where they can fall on their butt. We don't want them to be hurt. We don't want them to go through, but we have to let go at some point, because the only way, especially if you are someone that is a believer in God, the only way that your child is going to get close to God and your child is going to have that relationship with God is if they go through something. We hear people say it all the time. I'm not talking about my grandma's relationship or my parents' relationship. I'm telling you about what I've been through and what I have seen and what I have dealt with, because I went through X, Y, and Z, and God saved me, and He kept me, and He protected me. And when we get to that point, that's when our relationship with God gets stronger. Our relationship with Christ gets better, because we know who our saving grace is. We know mama and daddy couldn't do it. My friends couldn't do it. The pastor couldn't do it. Only God could do it. So I'm at this point where I have gotten myself, because a lot of this stuff that we go through, we get ourselves into, and we want to look at other people, but we can't look at other people and blame them and point fingers and say, oh, it's your fault, you did this or whatever. No, it's a lot of our own choices that we are making that are getting us in these situations. And what we have to be mindful of is that we have to always think about future. Always think about how this would impact my future. How would this impact the people around me? How would this impact my children? How would this impact me and my mental health and my emotional health? We think about the moment so much that we miss out on the fact that we have a greater life ahead, and we need to be doing things to strive towards that. But we want to do all this other stuff that have nothing to do with our purpose and nothing to do with our destiny, and then we're looking crazy when we turn around and we see that it's been 10, 15, 20 years and we're still in the same spot. Back to this African American family where you've gone from having a baby for somebody, and now you're still traveling around trying to find somewhere to be, because you running away from your problems and your issues. Instead of you having conversations with people, instead of you getting work on yourself, you're pointing fingers at everybody else as if they're the fault of why you're where you are. We have to stop pointing our fingers at other people, because they are not the reason why we are where we at. They have no control. They have no control over your life. They only have the control that you give them. So you have to be very careful and very mindful about that. And you have to keep pressing forward and pressing towards something greater. Like there's something greater on the other side. You know, you gotta look at something that is bigger than you and believe in something bigger than you. Are you going to drag your children behind you, and your children are going to be just as lost as you? Listen, the craziest thing to me is when a lot of us, we don't really learn ourselves and know ourselves until we're older. Thank you, Sierra. Until we're older, you know, like our late 20s, really like 20s and 30s. Like some of us don't figure out who we are until then, you know, and we're around here trying to make children know who they are. Children don't know who they are yet. They don't. They don't know anything about life. They haven't been through anything, so they don't know much about anything. So we can't expect them to get it all right. We can't expect them to get it handled and know what to do, especially when they are doing something different from what you did. Like my children, all of my children are going to college. I've never been in college. So I have to a lot of times remind myself, hey, you got to understand there's a lot of pressures that you didn't have to deal with, that they are dealing with and they are going through because they're in college. You don't know about that college life for real. And that's why I send them to people that know about that college life. Because listen, half time I have no understanding. I don't understand. Like, why are we doing this? But this is why you have to have people around you that can help in certain situations. A lot of times, as people, period, and parents, we're trying to do this thing called life on our own. You need a team in life. You need a team of people. Again, back to the African American family in this show, you know, she wanted to do everything herself, raise her child herself, and then come to find out her child, listen, these kids, they will turn on you, okay? When it's convenient for them, they'll turn on you. Now, granted, I was on Lil Baby's side. Because Mia, I didn't really like Mia. Elena, I didn't like Elena either, but I was a little more on Elena's side than I was Mia's side. I could not deal with Mia, and her daughter Pearl had every right to go slap off on her, and I felt like she should have demanded that she take her to her daddy, but that's a whole nother thing. I'm not a writer of a show, so, you know, but I feel like that's who she just should have told her to let her go stay with her daddy, because you have taken this girl from her dad, made her dad think she was dead, and then you raising her on the road basically, and then you all of a sudden come up with this money to help your friend who you just met get a lawyer. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. So I was with Pearl when she went off on her mama. Listen here, you are crazy. You have lost your mind. You done let me live like this, and you could have definitely had us. I felt her on that, because we do stuff and it's so crazy. You did a lot of stuff, and Mia did a lot of things to be selfish and to make Elena look bad. Because see, that competition, why are we competing against people who you may need to just go to and ask them, hey, how did you get here? How did you do this? How can I get there? You know, but we so busy looking at the outside of stuff. We may be looking at race. Are we looking at economics? Are we looking at, you know, where they live? Are we looking at their occupation? Are we looking at their family makeup? And we're making these decisions about people instead of us saying, hey, let me go to so-and-so and figure out, well, how does she get her child into this school? How does she do this? And instead of us already off rip believing that people have done it a certain type of way, you may never know. Like, I've had people come to me and say, well, I thought you had this and this and this and this. I did not. A lot of stuff I have done on my own. A lot of stuff I figured it out myself. A lot of stuff I may have connections. I have a lot of connections on a lot of stuff, but sometimes I don't. You know, so you never know until you ask somebody. But because you've already made up this thing in your mind, now you take your whole family down with you, because you have this type of outlook on everything. So now you want your children to look at things that way. And for the children in this show, I was very proud of the fact that they still wanted to be friends with each other despite how their mothers were acting. They still wanted to be friends. They still wanted that connection with each other, no matter what the race was, no matter what the status was. They still wanted to do. Now, one of them, because one of the children from the Caucasian family, the girl that stole her identity. Now, she was trifling. Point blank, she was trifling, but the other children, they all connected, and that was really good to me, that they all were connecting despite what their parents had going on. But we children are always going to think it's better at someone else's household. Like, even in my case, my kids, they love going to their dad's house on the weekend because daddy is a little more lenient than me. I have to be careful with my words. Daddy is more lenient than me. And so I had to get to this place where I had to understand it wasn't about my parenting. It wasn't about the love that I had for them. It wasn't about how I took care of them. It was just the fact that it was some things that I would not tolerate that he was okay with, and he would let them get away with. And I had to understand at this point in life, and for anybody that's a parent, anybody that's trying to be a parent, kids, they are okay with being paid off to like you. They are okay with that. Now, granted, kids are quick to figure you out too. Kids will figure out if you real or not. They'll take the toys, they'll take the clothes, they'll take the trips and all that kind of stuff. But after a while, that stuff don't work anymore. They'll peep out who you really are, and then they'll start showing you that they're not with the foolishness. But as a parent, you have to understand the kids are always going to think that the grass is greener on the other side. Always. That's why I don't compete. I don't compete with their dad. I don't compete with anybody, especially when it comes to my kids. Because let me tell you something. I pushed you out. I carried you. I take care of you. There's nothing to compete with. There's nothing. So you have to be confident enough, because the problem that happened in this show is they were not confident in the parents that they were, so they did not like that their children liked the other parent. So, when they would see them connecting to the other parent, they would have an issue with that because they weren't confident in who they were as parents. It wasn't about the children. It wasn't about the other person. It was about the insecurities that they have within themselves. They have so many secrets and so many lies and so many issues that they have not worked on. So now they have brought these kids in. Listen, be very mindful when you bring kids into your life. You have to work on your issues, if for not for anyone else, but for your children, so you can raise happy, healthy, and whole children. That was my whole goal. That was my whole thing. When I went through with my ex-husband and when I got a divorce and all that kind of stuff, my whole goal was I am going to raise healthy, happy, and whole children. So I got to do whatever I need to do to make sure that they are good. If I got to deal with all of my demons, if I got to forgive, if I got to be cordial with their dad, if I got to be nice even when I feel like you don't deserve it, even if I can't, if I have to restrain myself, if I want to go off on you and cuss you out and fight you, because of my children, I had to do a lot of stuff. I had to suck up a lot of things because of my kids, because I was so adamant about raising them in a healthy environment. I don't care what you feel. I don't care what you got going on. I don't care what you want to do or how you come in my way. At the end of the day, I'm not coming with that foolishness, because when my children look back on it, I want them to be able to say, well, my mom never did that. My mom didn't act like that. My mom, she presented herself as ladylike, with grace and poise and wisdom. That's what I want my children to remember. I don't want my children to remember, oh yeah, mama used to fight, and mama used to drag people, and mama used to cuss out folk, and mama used to go toe to toe with folk and stuff. I don't want them to remember that negative stuff about me. I want them to know that regardless, I'm going to always go to work, because when it comes to my kids, I have to be very careful, because I go black. Like, I see like red and black when it comes to my kids, because I am Mama Bear. And if you try me when it comes to my kids, I try my kids, I go real left, and I have to be very mindful, because I forget and I black out about my children. And I will drag you about my kids. But I don't have to do that, because I know how to use my words. So anywho, but yeah, I have to understand that I am raising children for the future. I'm not raising them for right now. I'm raising them for the future. I'm raising them not only to be these cute little prissy people, this little cute little boy or whatever, and playful little child. No, I am raising them to be amazing and strong people. So I have to keep that in mind with every decision that I make. I have to be very careful. This is why when I was watching this show, I was just like, is anyone thinking about these kids? Are y'all thinking about these kids, or are y'all out for your own selfish agenda? Because these kids are jacked up and nobody even knows, because you're so wrapped up in how you feel and what you're going through and what you have dealt with and what you have seen, that you can't see that your child is going through. Your child is fighting demons that you did not fight. Because you did not defeat the demons, now your child has to fight the demons, and they don't even know what they're fighting against. They're just trying to make it in this crazy world. And you're fighting demons that your parents and grandparents did not defeat. And that's why that was my goal as well. Them generational curses, we're not doing that around these parts. I had to kill all that. I had to work on that stuff. And we have to, as adults and as people, period, we have to be humble enough to understand that we definitely have issues. We definitely have stuff we need to work on. And we definitely have to be better, because our children definitely need to see better. Our children definitely need to grow up. They deserve that. They deserve to be raised in a healthy environment. You definitely have to live for your kids. You have to live for your kids. And that's something that definitely helped me, even though I was a young mom, even though I was a teen mom. That's what I always had in focus, that at the end of the day, my children have to be okay. At the end of the day, my children have to turn out a certain way. So I have to make sure that every decision that I make, it comes out on them in a good way. It can't be that I'm just doing it just to catch a dollar. It can't be that I'm just doing it just to get fame and fortune. I can't just do it just to get people attention or to be your friend. And listen, even down to the people that I kept around me, I was very mindful of who I kept around my child. Like, you're not going to be around my children. You're not, because I have to be able to trust you with my children when I'm not around. No, I can't govern your life, but I govern my children's life. So if I feel like you dibble and dabble in certain things that I don't teach my kids, you will not have access to my children. And that's from still at this age. You don't have access at 21 years old. My daughter is about to be 20. Lord. Y'all not praying for me. I'm about to have a 21-year-old next month. Pray for me. But even still with her, I'm still very mindful, about who is connected. If I tell my child, if my child needs help in something or she needs advice and I can't give it to her, I'm very careful about who I direct her to. Now, yes, she is grown and she can do, talk to whoever she wants to talk to. But if she comes to mama and wants mama advice, my first line of defense is my family. My first line of defense is my family. If my family don't have the wisdom or knowledge in that area, my next step is my friends, my close friends. If they don't have the answer, my next step is a leader or a pastor or something like that. Those are my steps. Because at the end of the day, I have to trust you with my children. I cannot let you just be saying stuff, especially if I hear how you talk to other people. I'm watching. I'm always watching. If I see how you operate with other folk or operate around, I cannot allow you to have access to my children and just be saying anything to them that's going to direct them in the wrong way. And no, I don't know everything. So that's, again, why I tell people, I always get advice from people that may have a different perspective than I do. I tell people all the time, but listen here, let me tell you something. I have a 21-year-old, 19-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 13-year-old. I don't, not in this day and time too. Thank you, Jazz. Thank you. In this day and time, it's a lot of stuff that they deal with that I did not deal with. So I'm okay with talking to somebody that may have a different perspective than I have. Doesn't mean that because your perspective is different that it's wrong. Doesn't mean that it's bad or negative. You know, so I'm always willing to direct them to people that may have a different perspective than I have. Because I tell them real quick, listen, your mama don't know about that. Your mama didn't deal with that. Your mama not, let me go call so-and-so and let you talk to them. Let me get you hooked up with so-and-so. And so we have to be very adamant about that, and we have to be confident in where we know that our child, know your child's purpose. Point blank. Know your child's purpose. Know what your child is here for, even if it does not look like how you want it to look. Know that your child, know what your child is supposed to do in life so you can direct them in the right direction and to the right people. So you can what's the word? You can mold that in them, you know, and you can help them because they have to have that developed. It's not just gonna happen. They got to have that developed. So you have to have the right people that can help them develop that, you know, because we all want our children to do better than us. All of us, and we can't protect them and shelter them. Listen, I have learned that we can't protect and shelter them for the rest of their life, even though I want to have them in a cocoon. Like, I didn't want any of my children to leave. I'm that mama. I wasn't that mama that wanted to put them out when they were 18 and all that kind of stuff. No, like, you can stay. Like, you can be here as long as you're doing something with yourself. You can't just lay around and not do anything. As long as you're doing something with yourself, you can be here. Like, you can stay. But they were so ready to go. Like, they just wanted to get away from me, and it kind of hurt my feelings. But okay. Anywho, I had to be okay with that, but they're doing fine, you know, because at the end of the day, I made sure that they had the right upbringing. You know, when they say train a child in the way that they should go, that's not only in biblical terms, that's in life. You know, when it comes to the way that their standards, their characteristics, their personality, their, you know, the way that they carry themselves, their finances, you know, all that kind of, their dreams, their goals, their purposes, you have to guide them and train them in the way that they should go, and then they will never go away from it. They will come back. Even if they tried, they will come back because that's what's been instilled in them. And yes, they may have a little twist on what they have learned, but it still won't take them so far away that you can't grab them. But as I stated in the beginning, if y'all have not seen this show, I have like told most of the show. If y'all have not seen Little Fires Everywhere, you need to watch it. It's so good. And just again, as a society, as for culture and for parents and for children, families, and all of that. And the other thing that made me mad, listen, Mia was trifling. I don't know about anybody else yet. A lot of people were mad at Elena. Again, I was mad at Elena because of how she tried to make her children look like they were better than somebody and her family was better and they were just as jacked up as they wanted to be. But Mia was dead wrong. Like, dog, you gonna go and tell this girl where this baby at? First of all, you touched somebody, baby. If y'all have not seen, she went and touched these people, baby. You touched somebody, baby, and then you went back and told the birth mama about her, and then try to help her get the child away from them. Who does that kind of stuff? That's a whole nother thing. Like, I just can't. Like, you literally, like, gave your child up, and then you mad at these people because they raising your baby. They saved her life, and y'all made them be the villain because they were Caucasian. That is so crazy to me. You made them be a villain because they're Caucasian, and they took your child in when you left your child to be taken in by somebody. See, the world, this is why people pay me to deal with their issues, because this kind of stuff, I just be like, how does it make sense? Like, this whole last episode, I was just like, make it make sense. And the poor baby, and Lena's youngest daughter, when she told her she never wanted her, that is something, like, I just could never tell my child that. Like, you tell your child you never wanted them, make them feel like they're irrelevant and they already felt. The kids know, they feel stuff, so they know, and you confirm it out by saying it out your mouth. And then when the baby ran off, you didn't even go after her, and her sisters and her brothers told you to go after her, and you would not go after her. How do you let your child just go away and just be like, how do you get to that point? That is so not okay. Like, I was just praying for the baby. This went real, but I always be praying. Like, I just be praying, Lord help me. I was praying, I was like, please don't let nothing happen to the baby. And we have to be very careful with what we say to our children, man. That stuff can stick with them for the rest of their lives. Like, it's just some stuff you just can't take back. You didn't want me. Yeah, you're not going to be able to put that back in the jar. That's not going to be able to go back in the can. Like, you can. But again, like I said, it was an amazing show. Carrie and Reese Witherspoon did they good acting, and the dude, what is his name? From Dawson's Creek and other stuff that he played in. I can't remember his name, but he did great. It was a great cast. Those kids, they all did really great or whatever. So when this new season come, I really hope what I see is that Pearl got connected to her real family, her dad and all that kind of stuff, and then the little girl comes back to her family. Like, I'm just hoping and praying, and they find this baby, because the lady ended up going to kidnap her child because she didn't win custody. People, deal with your issues, people. Okay, deal with your issues, deal with your stuff, so that you can have a better life and your kids can have a better life. And I know it's easier said than done, but you got to work on it for the future of your children and the future of yourself. Like, for you to be a stable human being, So that is all I have for today. Again, guys, you can follow me and all that kind of stuff. I said my pages and all that stuff at the beginning, so go back if you want to do that. And contact me if you want any coaching, mentoring, if you want me to speak at your event or anything, do that as well. Contact me for any tips. If you have any questions or topics you want me to talk about, you can inbox me, or however you can do that as well. I think that is it. And again, wait and look out for that podcast that's coming. This is a little snippet of stuff that you would get. It'll be way shorter, people, so don't worry about it. It'll be way shorter, and it will be good, because like I said, it's all like professional, laid out and all that kind of stuff. So be ready for that. And again, I thank you guys for always supporting and always joining in and encouraging me. Sometimes people don't understand that even though I encourage people and I motivate people all the time, people don't understand that I legit need that a lot. I need that a lot, because a lot of times that good old enemy, he can come in and he can say some stuff and do some stuff and have you looking real crazy and have you doubting yourself. And that's not what I need in this season. God got a lot of stuff that he's depositing in me, stuff that he had already deposited into me. And I'm starting to release this stuff because I finally got the confidence and the courage to do it. Had nothing to do with anybody else. Had nothing to do with the situations around me or anything. It had to do with me. I had to get the courage and the confidence to know that I could do all this stuff. So that's what I'm doing now. And I thank God for him trusting me with this stuff. So y'all just keep watching your girl, So you guys have a great day, an amazing week, and I will see you guys next week. Goodbye, my loves.